Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. In today's video, I want to go over a mock draft that CBS had where they had the Washington Commanders drafting LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. So let's get started. And yeah, my hair is a little bit messy. It is what it is. Sometimes it's just one of those days where you really don't want to do much with it. But let's talk about this mock draft. So it is a little early for mock draft season, but I actually made a video, talking about a mock draft from Dane Brugler a couple weeks or 1 week ago with, the Commanders drafting Olu Fashanu. That was the mock draft. I like that pick. And we're just going to keep talking about some of these because there is still football going on. The Commanders have 4 more games, but everyone's pretty much checked out. And Montez Sweat was talking about how when he was here, like 6 weeks ago, players were checking out. So can't imagine how bad it is now, especially coming off a 45 to 10 or 45 to 15 loss to the Dolphins, and they got blown out by the Cowboys as well. So it's just not great for the Commanders. Lost to Giants, a bunch of teams. It's not great, man. It's really not great. And yeah, we're just waiting for that January 7th game against the Cowboys to end. And, at home, and then see Ron Rivera and this regime, out the door. That's what we're really waiting for. And we have a lot of good draft picks right now currently where things stand. We have the 4th pick, but we have the chance to go a little bit higher if we lose out and the Cardinals win a game. And if the Patriots win a game or two, then we have a good chance to go up to that number 3 or even number 2 overall pick, depending on how things go. I made a whole breakdown about what where we are at with the draft picks and what needs to happen for us to go up or down. So make sure you guys check out that video. It was uploaded a couple of days ago. But Jayden Daniels, LSU stud, was mocked for to us. This was last week, about 8 days ago, and he did win the Heisman. He's an absolute stud. But I don't know. Things will definitely things can definitely change once we get closer to draft day. We really don't know where these quarterbacks stand. I mean, we know Caleb Williams is probably going to go 1, and then Drake May's probably the 2nd quarterback. But is Jayden Daniels going to be a top 5 pick, or is he going to be more of a top 15-ish guy where he's like, where the 3rd quarterback's taken at like 12 versus the 3rd quarterback's taken at 3 or 4? Still a lot to see, but he has played a lot, and that is what I do. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really don't know a lot about Jayden Daniels besides what's in front of me. I've watched some games, but I'm not going to lie and say that I'm an expert on Jayden Daniels and I really have an opinion. But what I do like that I'm seeing in front of me is a lot of football played. That usually is a good indicator of, not a great indicator of success, but a lot of times the quarterbacks that are complete busts are quarterbacks that only start a year in college, and that's not the case for Jayden Daniels, where he's played a lot of games. I mean, 2019 played a lot of football, 2020 not a lot. I'm not sure if that's because of the pandemic or other reasons. 2021 played a lot of football. Last year played a lot of football, and this year played a lot of football. So a lot of football and one really good year, and then 2019 was really good as well. 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And then 2022, 17 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And this past year, 40 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And he also is a rushing threat as well, a running threat as well. 885 yards in 2022 with 11 touchdowns and 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns this year. So an absolute stud. I don't know if I really want to take a quarterback. If Caleb Williams was there, if we somehow were able to trade up to number 1, I would consider taking Caleb or even Drake at 2 or 3. But I'm also content with sticking with Howell. He's got 4 more games, and if the next 4 games plays poorly, then I would be more inclined to take a quarterback. But if he continues to do what he's doing or plays a little bit better, then I would be less inclined to take a quarterback. But let's keep it real here. We're going to have a new GM, new coaching staff. They might want to bring in their own guys. So as much as we might like Sam Howell, they might feel differently. And I'm not going to hold that against them if they do want to start out their regime, with picking a quarterback at 2 or 3 or 4. Maybe that's not what I necessarily want, but I will not be strongly against taking a quarterback at that spot. And if you do, you still have Sam Howell on the roster. You can either have him battle out, or maybe you can trade Howell for some draft capital. Again, not advocating for for us to take quarterback. I'm just giving you guys a perspective of, okay, general manager comes in, he has a number 2, number 3, number 4 overall pick. He might want to start out that era with a new quarterback. Just something to consider. And what CBS says, they said, I know that Sam Howell is the Commanders QB and that he has had a solid year or two while showing signs of real growth, but there's a pretty good chance new ownership's looking for a new coach, and often new coaches like to have their quarterback too. No player improved more this fall than Daniels, whose game reminds me a lot of Lamar Jackson. And that's kind of what I'm saying, but I feel like it's more that the GM is going to want his guy more than the coach will. The coach obviously is going to want his own guy, but hopefully the one who's making the decisions is the general manager. Don't want another kind of coach-centric approach that we've had in the past. That we've had with Rivera. I want the general manager to make the calls, and he might want to take a quarterback with that first pick.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
Make sure you guys check out BetUS, the link in the description. If you use that link, you get 125% first-time deposit match. You get a lot of money to play around with, and there are so many different things you can bet on. There's college basketball tonight in the next few hours. There is NBA tonight, and there is not a great NFL game, so if you need some entertainment, for that Chargers-Raiders game, you can bet on that, but the site is very easy to use. It's very easy to get started. You just click that button in the top right corner. There's so many different sports to check out, so make sure you guys check them out. Link in the description, and as usual, bet responsibly. All right, so back to the Jayden Daniels / quarterback talk, because I just, every week I want to talk about maybe one mock draft, maybe once every 2 weeks. Just go over a mock draft, talk about it, and see what the, NFL national media is saying about the Commanders and what they think they're going to do, and just talk about different possibilities. I still think there's a shot Sam Howell is the quarterback next year. It really just depends on who that general manager is and what he thinks about Sam Howell, because I think Sam Howell can be a good starter in this league, but there's not a lot of fifth-round, second-year players in their first year starting that are going to have a lot of success in the offense the Commanders are in, and not even just Eric Bieniemy's offense, but more so the offensive line. It's just not a good offensive line that Ron Rivera built, so it puts Eric Bieniemy in a little bit of a difficult position, and then it puts Sam Howell in even more of a difficult position. So I would also like to see Sam Howell in an offense that's, has a good offensive line and stuff like that. So if you want to go that route, you can take a offensive lineman in the first, maybe, sign a couple as well, and then take one in the second or third as well. Like, I think regardless of who you take in the first round, I think you got to take 2 offensive linemen with your first 4 pick. I really feel strongly about it, and sign 2 offensive linemen. Like, they need minimum 3 new starters next year, possibly 4. The only guy I really feel strongly about coming back that I want is Sam Cosmi, because he's a good guard. Everyone else, or maybe even average, but I think he's above average. I think he's a good guard in this league. Everyone else is not good. I mean, Wiley's awful. Gates is bad. Larson's a backup. Sadiq Charles and Chris Paul are backups. And then, Charles Leno, he's not terrible. I know a lot of people hate on him. He's not terrible. So if they draft a guy in the first round and want to play him at left tackle, and then they're like, okay, Charles, if you want to go to right tackle, that's fine. I'm okay with that. And then you have, let's say, that first round rookie at left tackle. You have Charles Leno at right tackle. You've got Sam Cosmi at right guard. And then you drafted a guard, and then you signed a guard, and that's your starting offensive line. I wouldn't be mad about it. And they got to make some decisions about Andrew Wiley and Nick Gates as well, because they're on the books. So I don't know what they're going to be able to do with that, but I don't want them on the roster next year. I really don't want them on the roster. I don't think the general manager is going to want them on the roster as well. You usually want to have your own guys, and especially like guys like Jayden, not Jayden Daniels, Andrew Wiley and Nick Gates, like, they're not guys, I really want to keep around. There's some guys like Terry, maybe Brian Robinson, guys like that you're like, I really want to keep these guys around. But, Yeah, Andrew Wiley and Nick Gates, they're not those guys. But yeah, man, interesting possibility here with the Commanders. And I'm also very intrigued to see where Jayden Daniels goes and kind of how the hype progresses with him and where he lands in the draft, whether it's top 5, maybe even surpassing Drake May, or if it's more like a top 15 scenario. But thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.